March. If you didn't see that segment, I want to check it out. Link in the description. Went on for about 16 minutes, so it was quite hefty. And near the latter part of that video, or like the middle part, we started talking about the community a bit. Although I wanted to retain focus mostly on Pikamee, so I didn't want to get too sidetracked and decided to cut the video around the 16-minute part. However, it's a bit difficult to just move on from this news after getting news like that this morning. And I do find myself still on Twitter taking a look at the situation. Man, there's just some awful stuff going on, man. I'm seeing this go on, and it's nigh impossible for me not to talk about it, so here I am. First take, this is from someone who claims to be trans. And I say claims because, you know, there's been a lot of talk about, like, ops going on, right? This account's been around since May 2021. I don't know. If you think this is ops, if you think this is, like, someone pretending to be trans, just making a bad take, or if you think this is a real person, whatever, you know, let me know. Make up your own mind on that. The take reads, actually, I'm not going to repeat this, but you know what? I'll even take off the plugin for a moment. This person literally calls Pikamee a, let's refresh, without the plugin. Yeah, there you go. You see the tweet? You see the tweet. You know, aside from that, this person just tweets like normal stuff, basically, which really does make this seem like it's not an ops account. Unless it's a dedicated one. Again, make up your own mind on all that stuff. Moving on. Now, while that take did not have a lot of engagement at all, at least, this one is one that you may have seen with over 18,000 views from back on February 21st, and obviously that other tweet we took a look at reminded me of this one. And once again, this person does not seem to be an ops account. They got 1,900 tweets. They've been around since April 2021. This does not look like some sort of bait or ops account. This looks like a real account. Again, though, make up your own opinion. Going right down the list, we've got this tweet. This is one I talked about in my prior video, so I won't spend too much time on this one. Here's the point about this one. And if you saw that video already, my apologies for being redundant. For people that did not see it, though, here's the point real quick. A tweet like this, in response to the news of Pikamee graduating, is a bad approach for helping trans people as well, because as I stated already, this is just inflammatory and divisive. There's no care here about Pikamee's graduation. It's just a lot of selfish stuff. Person then goes on to complain about Silvervale as well, and then brag about the engagement they got on that tweet, saying, OMG, a hit tweet. Now, even though they're memeing around most likely, it's still a bad look. This one is in response directly to VOMS Project, and it reads, I'm going to explicitly say it, if you're transphobic, unfollow me right now and don't freaking come back. If you go after trans people because of Pikamee graduating, then you have always been transphobic. All you did was go mask off. Trans rights are human rights. This post is bad because you made it using her retirement announcement. It's disrespectful.
Matagal na kami ng UB online. It all started with just one ID. Sobrang na-appreciate ko ang beauty niya.
To her. I felt it was fitting because of the insane amount of hate in the quote, retweets, and replies. Hate that didn't come from her. If the hate is a problem, then target that. Continuing, we've got this example next. Pikamee graduating means more hate raids for trans streamers. Be prepared to handle these. Here's some steps to take. Be ready to enable sub-only mode on your chat. Have the pause/hide alerts button handy. Be ready to run an ad if one starts. Use Commander Root, link below. Minty then goes on talking about the Root thingy and the Streamlabs thingy. He goes on to make some more takes like this and eventually finally talks about concern for Pikamee. So at least there's some concern for Pikamee and Pikamee's fans here. It's just that it comes a bit late. I think it's better to preface the takes with concern for Pikamee and all that, because here's my angle again, and I probably am repeating myself at this point, but this is about Pikamee. When people make it about them first and foremost, it's gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouths, understandably. And then we got a response from this David person who, to be fair, does kind of make an unnecessary poke here. But Minty gives a really weird response to that regardless. It says, well, I don't really know for sure that she's not done anything wrong, but I don't blame her for the situation. It's not her fault that her graduation is rallying transphobes. I hope she issues a statement against the harassment. But in that sense, she did nothing wrong, yeah. Okay, what kind of nonsense is that? Look, I tried to be fair to Minty giving praise where some of it was due in that tweet, I guess. But to then make some weird thing about expecting Pikamee to make a statement against harassment. She's in the middle of dealing with mental health issues, it really sounds like, because it seems like she's had stuff going on for a while, and something apparently seemed to have potentially happened back in December or so, which caused her to take the initial break to begin with. Again, I'm not an expert on Pikamee lore and knowledge. I might have some of that wrong, but when you do start piecing stuff together, it's very obvious to see that at the very least, she's got some personal stuff going on in her life already. On top of that, she was just a victim of a massive harassment campaign, And then furthermore, now we also know that she's graduating. But yeah, forget all that. Let's just expect her to make a statement against the harassers that she's not responsible for and shouldn't be making a statement about, because again, she's not responsible for that at all. So it's weird that people are like demanding her to make a statement, or to be, let me walk that back slightly, not demanding, but saying that they hope she issues a statement as if she's got nothing else going on right now. Compare those takes to these takes. For example, I've got two coming right up. This is the first one. I'm seeing a lot about Pikamee graduation. As a trans woman, I didn't want this. To go against boycotting a game/series, yes. Stick it to the transphobic JKR, but to harass streamers to the point of quitting, no. I hope there isn't more hate/ill will towards trans people. And the second example. I'm sad for all the fans of Pikamee and wish her all the luck in her future endeavors. But if you plan to use her graduation announcement as an excuse to be transphobic or homophobic, please just block me now. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. I think those two takes that we just saw are much better than the examples that we saw prior to that. They preface their tweets by first expressing concern for Pikamee and Pikamee's fans and wishing her all the best in her future endeavors. And again, compare that to the takes that we saw beforehand, where those people somehow see news of Pikamee's graduation and find a way to make it about them and how they're a victim. It's like, no, Pikamee, this is about Pikamee and her graduation. You can't just see news like that and then suddenly be like, oh, I'm a victim, and expect that that's going to go well and that most people are going to see tweets like that and it's going to be well received. No, your tweets are bad and you just made things worse. Good job. For example, let's go back to that Minty tweet and take a look at some of the responses that it's getting. She never did anything wrong. At least one thing you can do is to show that not all of you are selfish and show to be better people. But looking at this, I feel disappointed. You guys are not the kind of people I can respect. Sorry. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating to me as well when I'm sitting here trying to emphasize in every single segment that there's plenty of chill, cool trans people out there who don't agree with the harassers. But then like the most viral threads on Twitter in this situation from the trans activists or whatever are ones that are inflammatory and just making things worse. How is it that I, someone who's not even trans, is doing a better job at diffusing this stuff? Like, it ain't my job to be doing this, but apparently I'm doing a better job than they are. It makes no sense at all, man. Another response to Minty reading, are you serious? You can't even say that she didn't do anything wrong, I think is the missing point there, given the context that we already know, we saw a moment ago. She never even played the game and left, and you seriously can't even say that. You know, I lost a small amount of respect for you for standing up for the truth when the fake life-ending, self-ending thing happened. We're missing some context there. I'm not sure what Minty said about that when it did happen, but if you're out of the loop on what that's referring to, my gosh, this has been a crazy number of weeks, hasn't it? But a couple days ago, there was a fake claim made up that a trans woman ended her life. This never happened. It was a completely fabricated story. A bunch of people are running with the narrative and trying to blame Silvervale and other high-profile VTubers for that when they obviously had nothing to do with it. And furthermore, it was all a fabricated thing that never happened. We'll take a look at one more example of responses to Minty. This one saying, do you know the definition of hypocrisy? Showing two tweets from Minty. One that previously said, that's fair. I find Silvervale condemning Twitter freaks without considering the hate that will encourage against trans people and continuing to play wizard game in poor taste too. And then writing, poor Silvervale and her giant hate mob. Sorry, I mean audience. She's got it so hard, all because of those evil trans people demanding she listen to them about politics. Ugh. Oh my gosh, man. This is case in point what I just talked about how these activists are making things worse. They're literally trying to make it sound like all of Silvervale's audience is a hate mob. What is a take like that going to do? It's just going to rile people up. And then trying to put all the trans people on the side of the harassers and stuff, that's just going to make them look bad. Like, those takes are not helpful at all. You know, something else really, really funny or pathetic, depending on how you want to look at that, is this. A lot of the tweets being made by people warning others about hate raids. You know, we saw an example earlier of a tweet that basically said like, oh, now that Pikamee's graduated, watch out for all the hate raids that are going to come. The people making those tweets, most of them, if not all of them, at least that I saw, don't even stream to begin with. How are you going to worry about hate raids when you don't even stream? It comes off really dang fake. And the answer is not that they're concerned about other people getting hate raided either, because the other people they're talking about, they're like pretty much all V-tweeters. They don't stream either. Now, to be fair, that is a bit of a generalization that I just meant. Get involved in defending Pikamee. So we'll close this with this one. I think some people will appreciate this. This account's really cool. It like routinely posts like anime on vintage TVs and stuff like this. It's a pretty cool premise, very unique idea. And as mentioned, you can see their take right here, calling out the bullies straight up. The tweet also getting over 10,000 likes, over 180,000 views. adding bonus pics because I probably will buy the Funny Wizard game just for this story. Oh man. And then they also added this. These bullies are probably the same people that continue to harass and bully the Japanese artist that drew Bridget-kun. Screw them. I'm more calm now, they did say later on, and waifu posting will restart later. Just to be clear, this is a post against haters and not a specific community. I just hate bullying. As we near the very end of this segment now, despite, all the rough news and all that, I hope you found something enjoyable out of this segment. And of course, let me also mention that there might be Pikamee streams before she graduates at the end of March, as she did allude to that possibility, so something positive to keep in mind as well. And lastly, if you are interested, I will likely be having my stream starting in March too, so my VTuber account will be linked in the description for those interested. And again, thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the comments and in the next segment.